Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitaba wa ahlam yaj'al lahu wajh aqbaduhu subhanahu wa ta'ala wa ashkuruhu wa huwa ahli hamdi wa thana wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa huwa la sharika lahu وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله ومصطفى اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك محمدا وأهله وصحبه وسلم
Ameen.
Alhamdulillah bil alamin. We thank Allah Almighty always for everything, because everything is an unveiling in terms of who Allah Almighty is. He wants to be known. And He's known best through the crown of creation, and known best even more in those who are best in obedience to Allah Almighty. Allah shows up through them. It's an amazing and an awesome opportunity that Allah Almighty has given us, an opportunity to audition to be the crown of creation. All of us are being invited to this elaborate audition to see who Allah Almighty is going to allow Himself to be represented through. And Allah Almighty has given us so many trials and tribulations and so many difficulties, and He says that you're all in a race for good. And He brings us here so we may compete for the top spot. Like they always say, they can only be number one. There's only one number one. Yet Allah gives us all 24 hours. He gives us the access to oxygen for our bodies, food for our bodies, provides for us every wherewithal that we need in order to compete in the race. But the secret here is that Allah Almighty allows a little macaroni in the game. It's like a steeplechase to our goals. There are obstacles that we have to clear. There are difficulties we got to go through. There are distractions that we're going to have. And those of you who will look to me within yourselves, those obstacles will be easy. And the arch obstacle is the whisper of Shaitan in our ear. How does someone get the whisper in our ear? Don't you know that you just can't go somewhere and some stranger come to you and whisper in your ear? It has to be someone that is engaging us in a relationship that's able to get close enough to us to whisper in our ear. Sweet nothings in our ear. That means we have established some kind of relationship with the enemy of humanity, which is part of the obstacle to see who is going to resist, be able to resist, and be on the security in terms of what we're thinking. Think about what we're thinking. Because the highest form of worship is thinking. And that whisper, someone's seeing us in this race. And we're competing diligently in this race. And they know that the way they can get us off our game is to whisper in our ear. You see it all the time in sports. Let me get in their head. Let me get in their head to shake them up. Let me get them off their game, be thinking about me, and don't be thinking about what they need to be thinking about. Focusing on the target. I want them to focus on me. And this is real. Because Allah Almighty said to beloved Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, plan your life as if you're going to be here forever. But live it as if this is the last day. He's talking about a focus that is beyond focusing. And he's saying that the goal, the target, to reach the target gives you the ability to represent me on earth and in the heavens while you're in earth. And the enemy of humanity, because Shaitan is not an enemy to Allah Almighty. How can he be an enemy to Allah Almighty? Allah says, I will finish you. He said to Allah Almighty, oh Allah, let me test them. They don't deserve you. They're not worthy of this blessing of representing you. I am. You brought me up and I trained the angels. So he's going to be on us like white on rice. And the only way that he can get close to us, to whisper to us, is that there's a part of us that's of his nature. Our egos. But that ego can be an enemy to Shaitan, or it can be an enemy to Allah Almighty. If it is an enemy to Allah Almighty, it is definitely an enemy to us. And Allah tells us that if you fight that enemy in you, I will make everything outside of you to be beautiful for you. And I will give you the ability of saying, be and it is. In other words, you will have a clear path. I will make your way to bliss easy. Every difficulty for you will come easy. The This is why we have to keep our minds on that power that gives us power to keep our minds on the target. It's not difficult, it's simple. You look through history and you see that it's always been just a few people that have always heeded to that message. Just a few. A few during the time of Abraham. A few during the time of Solomon. A few during the time of Moses, of Jesus, of Muhammad. There were, Allah be pleased with all of them. There were 313 that went, of the Sahabas, of the Muslims, that went against thousands of those who were enemies to Allah Almighty. They were agents of Shaitan. When Dawood and Talut fought Goliath, they were fewer in number. But that's the whole test. It's not what's outside, it's what's inside. Allah says, Kalbun Mukmin Bayt Allah, the heart of the believer is the house of Allah Almighty. We must begin to understand this in a very common sense way. Because we keep getting tricked and trapped and distracted from our targets. It's always been a few that were able to help the masses. The masses have never done anything. Throughout history, the masses have always been tricked by Shaitan, listening to, following their egos. All through history. They have been destroyed for that. They have gone through wrath because of that. They have gone through so much difficulties, and that difficulties never became easy. And it's happening today. This moment. Because we're looking at the same sky, the same sun. We're breathing the same H2O. The oxygen. We're drinking the same water. Just the faces and the places have changed. Allah Almighty has not changed, and His message has not changed. And those who follow that message, by becoming that message, Allah Almighty established them in strength and power in the land. Every time. He's not concerned with numbers. Allah can send one individual to control everything. We see the power, and we've said it before. Every time we hear this thunder, this loud thunder, and it makes us kind of go under the sheets and get quiet. You hear all this boasting. This is one little angel called Rod, maybe the size of your pinky finger, making all that noise. He's saying, Allahu Akbar. And everybody praising Allah Almighty. And yet Allah Almighty had all of the angels and all the jinn to bow down to our grandfather Adam. So these are reminders to let us know that if Allah Almighty is having them to bow down, even Shaitan that has the masses of people bowing down to him and missing their marks, also was told to bow down to Adam. And look how successful Shaitan is. From east to west, north to south. Controlling all of the governments. Controlling all of the wealth. Have everybody fighting each other, killing each other. Going against the laws, the natural laws that Allah Almighty set in motion for us. So, who's representing Allah Almighty these days? And the Prophet Muhammad says, if you got to crawl across ice or go to China to find one of them, it would be worth your journey or worth your difficulties. Just one of them. Don't you know how difficult it is to believe in the unseen while you're in the scene? When the scene is always changing and always confusing and always coming at us and it's presenting itself that I am your Lord, this is your way, this is your fashion, act like this. 24/7. We go to sleep with our TVs telling us talking. We wake up with our TVs talking. We listen to our radios it's talking. We look in the streets it's talking to us. We're on the phone and subliminally. We're getting subliminal messages in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. Disobey Allah and don't listen to those who ask no reward for you. Yes, they're taking you to paradise, but this is paradise. You only go around life one time. Get all the gusto you can. The middle high life is the high life. This is what the whisperer, Shaitan, is that one who's able to get close to our face and whisper. You know, whisper in your ear means he up on your lips, on his lips on your ear. You gonna let anybody come and whisper in your ear that you don't know? It must be through an integration or interaction, that through having a relationship with Shaitan, giving birth to evil, that we become used to that and friendly with that. And he has the audacity to be able to come and just say, hey, disobey your Lord. I'm your Lord. And you'll say, okay, my dude. What? You could never do that if you were on security of your mind. He couldn't do that if we was on security of our environment. He couldn't do that if we was on security of what it is that we're feeling, what we're thinking, and what we're doing. He could never do that. When Allah says change what is in yourself, He said, hey, be aware of Shaitan in yourself and outside of yourself. Because he lies on a straight way. He's going to take you on a trip that you don't want to be on. And if you follow him, you're going to get hellfire like he's going to get hellfire. But it's hellfire. Any kind of difficulty that never stops being a difficulty. Whether that's mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, socially, politically, ethically, or morally. Let's break this down so we can make it plain now. Yeah, this is all from Quran. This is all from Hadiths. But let's break it down so we can see it in our own lives. Because we think it's something of the Shadrus tales of the ancients. Can't relate to this. It was about them, not us. Yes, it's us too. We're the ones that's here now. We're the ones, this oxygen here is for us. Not those who passed away. And not even for those who haven't come here yet. If our oxygen is coming now, every molecule of oxygen has been laid out and distributed, and it knows, Allah knows how many breaths we're going to take, and we got to be doing whatever we need to do. And when we're inhaling those breaths, to be in obedience to Allah Almighty, because one day those breaths will say, I have no permission now to enter. Angel of death comes, says no more breaths. No matter where we are. You're on your vacation, and you're on your job, and you wherever you having tea somewhere, whatever we're doing. When those breaths stop, then that angel says, okay, you have to leave everything here. All that we left Allah for, we accumulated listening to our friend that we allowed to get so close to us in our ear, like he was family. Now he leaves us in a lurch, and he says, you know what? I just whispered. I didn't have no power over you. I ain't had no power over you. I just whispered. And you obeyed me. Allah is God. I fear Allah. See, Allah, they ain't deserve it. That's the whole point. We're allowing him to prove a point in our lives. When Allah Almighty has sent us here to do phenomenal things. Don't you know Allah Almighty is going to ask us, why was all these killings out here? Why was all these problems out here? Why was all this poverty out here? And we're going to say, Allah, I wasn't the president of it. I wasn't this. Allah says, you had access to me like you had access to the oxygen, didn't you? You never ask me. Don't you know Allah Almighty wants you to ask? Why does Allah want you to ask? Not that it builds Allah up, not that Allah needs anything from us. So we can know that Allah is real. When you ask something that you're in need of and you get it, that's confirmation. But Shaitan gets us so distracted through our nerves that we don't even ask until we just like in a crisis situation. Then, oh, so-and-so about to die and so-and-so been killed and somebody hurt. Oh, I need this. Oh, Allah help me. Allah says, you see them bending their necks, rolling over, not sleeping, crying, begging, sleeping in all kind of positions, begging me. Oh, Allah help me. Allah says, when I help them, they forget all about me. So those prophets that went to people, and they were among people, and when the people knew that they were good ones, and they would ignore them until they needed something, then they started calling on the prophets. Yeah, they was representing and representing Allah at that time. They saw them as godlike. They saw that Allah was working through them only when they had the crisis. Shaitan had us so distracted all the time from our desires, living it up, living the Miller High life, drunk. See, one thing about calamities, they will sober us up. Then we sober up and realize we've been tricked. Then we say, oh my Lord now. Oh my Lord now? Oh my Lord now? And this is why Allah Almighty says, obey me, obey the prophets and those in authority among us. Because when you obey them, you're obeying me. It has to be someone that can relate to you. That's bringing the message from me to you. To bring you to me. It has to be. Those people, those are our heroes and our sheroes. Because the distractions that Shaitan is able to trick us some way, shape, or form to get close enough to get in our ear. That's personal. That's personal space. Don't you know if we turn toward our ear while he was talking in our ear and turn our face, he'd be on our lips. We kissing the devil. That's why we're suffering. That's why we're suffering. Once we start to listen and hear, obey guidance, you don't let nobody just come in your house, in your private places of your house, and come whisper in your ear. That means there is a relationship. You are cohabitating with the devil, and he's going to give birth to our ego, which is going to be evil. And as long as we're doing that, it's going to bring difficulties on us because it brings wrath. Evil brings wrath. Evil brings evil. Allah says good begets good. So Allah says be in a race for all that is good, enjoining what is good and forbidding what is evil. Shaitan get in your ear. Don't let him get in your ears. Because if he get in your ear, he'll be on your lips. You'll be kissing fire. And we're asking Allah Almighty to please. We're begging Allah to help us. We can't keep going for that slow left hook that Shaitan keeps bringing on us and causing difficulties to stay with us. Now we busted, disgusted, and we can't be trusted. And yet Allah brought us here from the thousands of sperms that came out of the loins of our father. Allah said this one is going to be the one that's going to audition for that spot. So how are we going to fail when we go back to Allah? And Allah says, what happened? What did you do with the time? Tell me about those pleasures you had. And all we're going to think about is Shaitan seducing us through our nafs to do things that are against our souls. We're begging Allah to help us and forgive us. Because every second is serious. Every breath is so precious. Our consciousness is precious. Opportunity to repent and ask Allah Almighty to please help us. Here and after. Woman Allah Tawfiq Feb. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على كريم المرسلين محمد النبي أمي وأهله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد الحمد لله رب العالمين. The prophets always, may Allah be pleased with them, always face the odds of material and physical numbers. But in reality, that was just an illusion. That was shadows of deception, because there's more of the unseen than the seen. So the difficult part about us coming here is that Allah is a hidden treasure, but Allah tells us how we may reach to that treasure. But He tells us, first of all, you have to find a trainer and guidance. Guidance helps us to know where that treasure is. Guidance helps us to be able to resist the distractions. Guidance helps us to be able to keep Shaitan from whispering in our ear. And if he does whisper, whisper from a distance. Don't you know, even if he's whispering in your ear, can you imagine that hot, bad breath? He uses no deodorant. He don't brush his teeth. He don't bathe. And we got him in our ear. So what is your ear going to smell like when he finishes talking in your ear? Then don't you know that a fly, people don't really like flies, because flies go from carry feces to carry feces to places. And every place it goes, it leaves feces. It leaves dirt wherever it goes. And people that gossip and they backbite and they live according to the whisper of Shaitan become human Shaitans. No one likes them. Eventually no one likes them. We're asking Allah Almighty, begging Allah Almighty, not to be like those whom they lost their way and misguided and received Allah Almighty's wrath, but those whom Allah bestowed His grace upon and they were protected to be on the straight way, and they were able to hit their targets in this life, in the next life, while they were in this life. Amen. And there was no death for them. Woman Allah Tawfiq al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.